what's happening now? What's happening with the level of ethnic cleansing which NATO and its allies says are going on?
I am watching all the media by satellite, and so I'm watching CNN also. So it's an offensive on the media against Serbs. You are producing pictures which are false, I have to say. You are showing to a world the Albanian woman, she's crying a minute, you didn't finish yet, she's not crying anymore. You are producing children which are crying only to touch American people. I have to tell you, the Serbs are running away also because of NATO bombs. You are bombing 8 days. Civilian positions, you are bombing military targets, you are bombing police, you are bombing everywhere. So of course the civilians are running away from the country. And then you are telling them the Serbs are pushing them out of the country, which is not true. It's not true. The Serbs are not pushing Albanians. The Albanians can live together with the Serbs in Kosovo. We have nothing against them. We have against terrorist groups which are killing Serbs and Albanians together. We are fighting, the Serbian troops are fighting against the terrorist groups which are armed by the United States, which are well trained by the United States, by the CIA, which give them an officers to train them, and we are fighting against the well force of, they call themselves Army, Liberation Army of Kosovo.
What do you think is triggering then the exodus? These people that you say are going out of the country in their mass numbers, clearly upset, traumatized, many of them, as I'm sure many Serbs are.
Of course, because of the bombs.
This?
You are bombing them for 8 days. Do you think it's easier to stand and you are bombing every day the positions of civilians, the position of Serbs? You're bombing everyone. You're not bombing only Serbian troops. You're bombing civilians. You're bombing a town as it Pristina is. I have my relatives there. Each night you are bombing them. So they also run away, and they are Serbs. Everyone is running away from bombing. Here in Serbia, here in Belgrade, the innocent people are suffering. The children, they're afraid. The women, the wives, everyone is afraid of bombing. Of course we are afraid of bombing. What do you think? It's normal to come with 450 planes and bomb sovereign state of Yugoslavia because you don't, or we don't agree at this moment. It's better than you negotiate for 30 years than to have a war for only one day. Right, and of course we heard then some generals of Pentagon, some generals in NATO, they don't want to be a part of that. And of course we know there are humanitarian people in the NATO, inside Pentagon also, which don't agree with the American aggression in Yugoslavia. We are allies in the First World War, we have been allies in the Second World War, and what happened now? You're attacking an ally. We've been fighting together. My grandfather, my father, they've been fighting together with the United States against the Germans.
All right, you're talking about the history of fighting in this region.
I have to say that.
We know about that now. As a fighting man who was engaged in the wars in Bosnia and Croatia and saw some bloody things going on in that part of the world, what's in store in this conflict if NATO continues the bombing, widens the bombing, and this leads to ground troops? What's going to happen here?
We get nowhere. We probably will get to the Third World War. We don't want that. We want peace. Don't you understand? But because I saw what the war is, I'm for the peace, and everyone in Yugoslavia is for the peace. We don't want the war. We don't want to be bombed, and we don't want to be engaged in the war. We want a peace, simply as that. But if you attack us, we have our right to defend ourselves. We have our right to defend ourselves on the ground, on the air, at the sea, wherever you attack us. We have to defend ourselves. Do you think that we should just close our eyes and wait for the bombs to come down and we are not going to shut your plane? Or do you think we are going to watch how you kill us and we are simply to sit and watch that? Of course we are going to defend ourselves. We will defend ourselves with the arms we have. We are a small little country. We have no much arms. But we will defend ourselves to the last man. We will defend ourselves with the forks and with the stones when we don't have any more ammunition. You have to understand that. That we now, I am the president of one opposition party, the Party of Serbian Unity, but all the parties in Yugoslavia doesn't exist now. We have only one party. A Serbian people are defending themselves. You're attacking our president You give them a message when you put down our plane, MiG-29. And of course, we give you a message when we put down your plane. And I think it have to stop. We have to find words. We have to find solution for the peace. We are one who are attacked. You are one who attacked us. So you have a force. You are NATO. You are the biggest force in the world. And we are a little country. We are big as a big ranch in Texas. That's Yugoslavia at the moment.
Is there any interest from the Serbian side to see the situation in Kosovo being emptied of the ethnic Albanian people? Does that serve Serbia's interest?
No, I grew up in Pristina. My mother, she's from Pristina. I have to tell you, we have a good friends who are Albanians, normal people. They are our friends. They are. We grow up. We went to the school together, and we respect each other. We have Turks living there. We respect those Turks living there. We are not that kind of a people. We want them to stay there, but not those who are terrorists, not those who are killing Serbs, not those who are killing their own Albanian people.
But
you are talking about ethnic cleansing. Let me remind you that on 1946 in Kosovo, 70% were Serbs, 30% were Albanians. Now what we have 90% of Albanians and 10% of Serbs. And you are talking about ethnic cleansing. It's not true. We prove in Yugoslavia that we are not against the population. We are not against Muslims. We are not against Catholics. We are not against Albanians. Be sure. We are only against the terrorists, which want, they're calling themselves now a liberation army, because first they were for the United States also terrorist groups, but then when the CIA started to produce them with the officers for training, they give them money and arms, after that they said it's not a terrorist group, it's some liberation army of Kosovo. Let me tell you that liberation army, they are the clear terrorist groups which are killing.
Again, Serbian television saying that these are the U.S. troops who went missing along that border. Radio contact was last made by the three men about 18 hours ago. They told their officials that they were being fired at by small arms and that they were surrounded, and then that was it. There was no contact with them after that. They were on a reconnaissance mission along the northern Macedonian border when they went missing. There is a substantial search and rescue operation underway there now. NATO helicopters. Now, according to Serb television, we're just hearing, they're saying that 2 of the officers were arrested in Pristina. Have I got that correct? And that's what Serbian television is reporting. Again, we have no way of independently confirming this or confirming that those pictures are, in fact, of the U.S. troops. But again, that's what Serbian television has been showing. There is a search and rescue operation underway in northern Macedonia. NATO helicopters, ground forces are there searching for the 3 servicemen who are missing in Macedonia. They were on a reconnaissance mission right near the Yugoslav border, part of a mission that has been there monitoring that border. They made radio contact, apparently, or made some kind of contact about 18 hours ago, saying that they had been surrounded and that they had been fired on. And then that was the last that we heard of them. We're apparently just getting some names in. James Stone, we are told, and Andrew Ramirez and Steven Gonzalez. Those are the names that Serb television is giving for the 3 people you are watching in these pictures, these Serb television pictures that we're showing you right now. Again, Serbian TV has named these individuals as James Stone. We're just going to check on those names, actually, and see if we can do that. Again, Serbian television is saying that those pictures that you've just been looking at are the U.S. troops who went missing in northern Macedonia about 18 hours ago. We have no way of independently confirming what these pictures are, but we do want to show them to you as they're being shown on Serbian television. We're going to take a short break here now on CNN, and we'll bring you more on this when we come back, so do stay with CNN. They have named are James Stone and Andrew Ramirez. And again, we want to emphasize that these are pictures on Serbian television, so we have not independently confirmed who these people are, what the pictures are of, but this is what Serbian television is reporting. The 3 U.S. servicemen went missing in northern Macedonia while they were on a routine reconnaissance mission. They're part of a force that has been stationed there for some time to monitor the border. They made radio contact about 18 hours ago saying that they'd been fired on and that they were surrounded, and then that was the last that anyone heard of them. Pentagon and NATO officials have not named them, have not speculated on what might have happened to them, but of course a rather substantial search and rescue operation was started and is underway right at this hour. NATO helicopters, also some ground forces are in that region, just right along the Yugoslav border, actually, searching for those servicemen who went missing near the Yugoslav border. They were part of a convoy that was monitoring the border. The convoy, apparently involving 3 vehicles, split up, lost contact with each other, and then this urgent radio call came in from the 3 who were in one of the vehicles. Once again, what we're showing you now are pictures from Serbian television. We have not independent...
These refugees had been trying to escape on a train, but Serb police refused to let it cross the border. They confiscated the passports and identity papers of many of these people and then told them to leave their homeland by foot. It looked like a scene from the Second World War, but this is 1999, and these are people who can scarcely believe the fate that has befallen them. Amina Fatisha is a woman almost as old as our century, a century which had hoped it would never witness such an exodus again. Amina is seriously ill, her heart and lungs are failing. Her family say it is a miracle she has survived the journey so far. It is difficult indeed to believe that this is modern Europe on the verge of the new millennium. These men, women and children have abandoned everything they ever had. They are walking along this railway track, the only way they can escape from Kosovo and escape from the Serbs. Each individual face tells its own story of trauma and of despair. These are men and women who say they've seen their homes burned down and who claim to have watched innocent civilians rounded up and taken away.
In one morning, they came, the masked people, and took one of my neighbors. We don't know where is he. Maybe he's killed, maybe he's massacred. We don't know nothing. I am alone here. I have nobody here. My brothers, my parents are out there. I don't know where they are.
I just wanted to say, just if somebody can hear me, just if somebody can help us, our people. I don't know what to say else. I left there my family.
Once the refugees had finally reached the safety of Macedonia, they at last dared to leave the railway line, streaming into a field that for a while would become their new home. A handful of aid workers gave out some food. There wasn't much of it at first, and the hungry scrambled for whatever scraps they could get. Some hadn't eaten properly for days. They almost trampled on a mother trying to breastfeed her baby. Relief workers struggled to cope, urging patience and promising that more food was on its way. The Macedonian police tried to hold back the surging mass of refugees, but thousands have come into this country already, and hundreds of thousands more may be on their way. Albanians at this official border crossing have queued for days to get out of Kosovo. So for many, escape by foot is the only option, even if it's across rough terrain, even if it risks interception by border guards. Their first thoughts now are to find someplace, any place that's safer than Kosovo. Already, though, their dreams are of returning to their homeland. Yet some know that may be a day they never live to see. Ben Brown, BBC News, on the Kosovo-Macedonia border.
We want it now! Autonomy, no way! We want independent state! Autonomy, no way! We want independent state! Autonomy, no way! USA! 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 Secretary, arms! Secretary, arms! Secretary, arms! Victory! 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 Victory!
Sign up and volunteer the other day.
Et maintenant, un coup d'œil à la météo en Europe. D'abord, les
continue to be forced across the Kosovo border into neighboring countries.
But the Serbian militia leader, Arkan, dismisses accusations of ethnic cleansing in Kosovo. Indicted for war crimes, we look at his role in the war in Bosnia.
One other headline, not a breakthrough, but not a breakdown either. The Northern Ireland talks are suspended for 12 days amid hopes that a compromise will be found. In a faster-flowing day of events in the Kosovo conflict, Serbian television has put on show 3 US servicemen kidnapped near the Kosovo-Macedonian border. The Yugoslav Deputy Prime Minister said the soldiers would be treated humanely. In Moscow, President Yeltsin has proposed a summit meeting of the world's 8 leading industrial countries on the crisis, and the Kosovo-Albanian leader Ibrahim Rugova has met President Milosevic ostensibly to discuss a political settlement. Meanwhile, after a week of its air campaign, NATO insists the attacks are proving effective and that NATO will stop only when President Milosevic is stopped. The NATO Secretary-General Javier Solana says that after a week of bombing, the airstrikes are inflicting major damage on Serbia's military machine. Last night's attack on the town of Novi Sad was NATO's first strike on a major non-military target. It destroyed a railway bridge over the river Danube, blocking the movement of ships and damaging the water supply for the city. In another development, 3 US servicemen were captured near Kumanovo on the Macedonia-Kosovo border. The Pentagon says they were taking part in a border patrol with UN peacekeepers and were not members of the NATO forces. It appears they were separated from the rest of the convoy, came under fire and were surrounded. Belgrade says the 3 men were captured on Yugoslav territory and had resisted arrest. In a moment or two, we'll be speaking to our World Affairs editor, John Simpson, who's in Belgrade, and we'll have an update on the refugee exodus from Kosovo. But first, Nick Childs reports on the latest military developments and on the new political initiative apparently emerging from Moscow.
A moment to savour for the Belgrade authorities as they paraded the captured US servicemen. The last their comrades had heard from them was that they were surrounded and under small arms fire. Just how they were captured remains a mystery. NATO is giving few details, but insists the men were originally deployed as part of a UN peacekeeping mission.
It does have to be said that President Milosevic cannot seize men who were sent there on a UN mission and pretend that he is conducting.
All the wishes, all the best wishes to the families. I'm sending regards to the families of captured soldiers. And they must know, for Serbs, captured enemy is not enemy. And they have no any reason to be worried about them. Absolutely no any reason.
For Belgrade, there's also much propaganda value in this meeting between the moderate Kosovo-Albanian leader Ibrahim Rugova and President Milosevic. Both men, according to Serbian state television, committed themselves to a peaceful solution in Kosovo. And another twist. President Boris Yeltsin may be licking his wounds from Russia's last failed peace initiative, but it hasn't stopped him trying to launch a new one, an emergency meeting of the Group of 8 major powers. Every wasted day means new losses, he said. On a difficult day for NATO, the alliance's top civilian and military officials emerged to reassure the doubters that their battle plan against Yugoslav forces is working.
After 1 week of air operations, I am